All right, heroes. Welcome to Shitcoin Talk, episode 66. I'm your boy, Dom. I'm here with my other boys. Let's start with Roy. Roy, our boy. What's up, man?
Yo,
Welcome to the
hey,
show, dude.
thanks, dude. Glad to be here. And if you're listening to this show, you are an absolute legend because who can hold during these times? On
That's
to the
it.
next person.
That's
Godson,
it.
go ahead.
Hi, this is Godson, the man. Actually, I'm too old to be a boy anymore. So, uh, I don't know, man. We're all wrecked. So at least we can be happy in the knowledge that everyone around you is wrecked. Everyone's dying. We're all like one shot away from crawling on the floor like it was Fortnite. Yeah. So it's all wreckage out here, bro.
What?
It's all wreckage. Pass it off to Rogue.
Hey, Crypto Rogue here. Just hanging out, chilling, doing my thing. Not dead yet. Mostly not dead. Slightly wrecked like everybody else. But it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Anybody else that's made it through 2013 till now, you feel me on that. Who is left I can pass it on to?
Urban Trading.
What up? What up? I'm Urban. Basically, kind of wrecked, but more so looking at the opportunity that we have now because USD value for most of the coins is so low. Like it's probably some of the best prices we're going to get for USD value in a long time, considering that Bitcoin makes a recovery relatively soon. So yeah, I've just been hunting for like the best USD value shitcoins.
Good.
Nice.
Good shit. So we did
By
have
the way, happy birthday to Crypto Cobain.
That's
happy
right.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Love you.
29 now.
Love you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that, Roy. That's very kind of you.
Yeah.
So we had a list, but I think we're just gonna say fuck the list. Let's go look at the Bitcoin chart, because holy fuck, dude. Anybody got a chart? Let's just
Hey,
look at this.
Can we get a quick rundown on that?
Yeah, Bitcoin went down. It went boom boom. Bye bye.
Bitcoin dumped.
Badly.
Hard.
Hard as fuck.
Went down 30% in the last 2 weeks.
It went big bye bye. Boom boom.
It got wrecked 30% in the last 2 weeks, bro.
Yeah. So what boys say you about this?
I mean,
Looks
Tone
like
Vase was right. That's what I mean. We'll have to admit that. Let's give the man some credit. Everybody mocked his one short because it spiked up like $200 afterwards, and
Too bad he didn't get to play it out.
Well, I'm sure he went and traded somewhere else. But the dude nailed it. I mean, he might have been a hair early, but overall, it was the right trade. So like, you got to give credit where credit's due. He was one of the few guys publicly shorting at that level.
Okay, I may have to disagree with that because
What is there to disagree about? He was right.
no. The being right doesn't make a trade good. Okay, you have to be systematic about it. Shorting the bottom that is held for 6 months is not a good idea.
yeah, I agree. Like from a logical standpoint,
I'd rather give the credit to Loomdart because this was the only time he didn't buy 6K. So congratulations, Loomdart.
there's always going to be someone who's right when the price drops, but I think it's more important to look at like the merit of the argument rather than whether or not they were right. So like in his case, I think that for a long time he's been a lucky trader and not a consistent trader. And so when you're a lucky trader, of course you're going to win some of the time. I mean, we're playing essentially a gambling game. So I mean, yes, he was right, but so were a bunch of other random people that don't have large Twitter followings. And people are always going to be, there's always going to be a group of people who are going to be the antagonists, who are going to be quote unquote right, regardless of what the technicals are.
That's true. Yeah, I guess like the risk and rewards that you're talking about, Godson, like the risk reward of shorting at 6K is not like that. What you're talking about, not the best idea.
Yeah, and, like if you short the breakdown, I get it. Then it makes sense. If you use some kind of fancy hedging strategy, with options and stuff like that, then it makes sense. But if you just shorted because you counted to 9 and it told you, if we get to 9, then it breaks down. I mean, that's just really, really stupid. Just because he got lucky doesn't make it.
It's risky. It's really risky. And you're gonna, with those risky plays, eventually you're gonna be right. I mean, it happens. It's literally trading. It's the same reason why, like, even if you have all the technicals pointing into your bias, you can still be wrong at the end of the day. And that's what traders need to accept, that when they enter this arena. Like, nothing is a given. Even if all the indicators tell you it's bullish, it could still have a massive sell-off. And so, like, those things exist in trading, which is why, like, no matter how good you are, you have to possess risk management, and you can't let your emotions get the best of you when you're trading.
My man literally counts to 9. Okay, like some kind of like toddler. He counts to 9.
I've seen a lot of people trade like that. It's weird.
It's just sad, man. It's gross.
What? I don't understand what you're talking about counting to 9. What the fuck are you?
It's just that 9 count on the candles, and depending on how the candle shows up on the 9 count, something happens that you trade. Yeah,
It's basically like trading by moon phase, like trading consensus pumps. Like, it's just
Are
weird.
you guys talking about the descending triangle? Like,
No. He just counts the candles, and once it reaches his arbitrary number, which is 9 in this case, he's like, okay, it's going up, or okay, it's going down.
Yeah, it's
What?
It's like a random walk thesis.
I know. It sounds stupid, because it is.
yeah. It's the TD sequential. I don't know. You can Google it if you want to.
TD
Some people
sequential.
swear by it. Some people think it's stupid. I don't know. I'm of the opinion that there are lots of different ways to trade.
It's
I mean,
fallible, though.
if you're making money by it, like, you can't really knock it. If you consistently make more money than you lose, then you know, if
50% of
it
his
works.
income comes from ref links, and the other half comes from teaching people how to trade.
Well,
He's
at least he
money.
did admit that. So there you go. Your favorite paid group leader makes more than half his income from fees and referral
Godson
links.
going after my man Tone Vase.
It's
Tone, if you're
yeah.
listening to this, get on shitcoin talk and defend your honor.
Oh God.
This is altcoin_Godson calling you out.
Godson _ Gordon Manza.
Yeah.
He can come at me with I don't.
So come and explain your TD sequential. But I mean, it's all TA. All TA is bullshit. So
Oh my
No,
god.
All TA,
the thing
is
about
fallible.
the thing
not
about
bullshit.
the thing about Tone Vase is he buys a lot during the bull trends and he shorts a lot in the bear trends. So he is more prone, like any good trader should. He's more prone to being right because the market is generally trading in the direction that he's also trading. So
He doesn't make any money. Anyways, let me explain my and why the only actual like scary thing with Bitcoin right now. So this chart that I put up, this indicator down here is basically just like a volume, a moving average sort of forced into a relative strength index. And it basically just tells you, how much, volume is in the market right now. And the only thing that's, scaring me a little bit is because it's kind of breaking out when we are in a downtrend, right? Which would confirm just a shit ton of blood coming up, right? So, although my Twitter handle says, bottom, and I kind of hope it's a bottom right now, this indicator basically tells me like, yo, we need more blood. So, I mean, if you look at, literally, I don't know, back here in 2016 when it broke out, you had a massive run, and then, when it broke out again, you had, the actual, bull market that took us to, 20K, and then, of course the tops that, you could have sold if you were a genius, but I'm not. Yeah, so that's kind of scary right now. I mean, from a moving average, crossover perspective, you could see like, the bear market still hasn't ended. If you were once again a genius like I am, you would have seen that, cross down over there at 9K and started taking permanent, shorts. But again, I'm not a genius.
What moving averages are those? Like what numbers?
I don't know. It's a script that I wrote. It's a EMA, SMA, combo. But it literally says altcoin Godson there because I wrote the script myself.
It's just a cross up, though, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure out what the best moving averages are for cross ups in crypto, because I think it's an untapped area in terms of like, no one has discovered the perfect combination. I don't think there's some speculation out there, and then obviously most people use 12
mean,
and 26, since it's
I-
the moving averages, convergence and divergence.
I don't like those. Like, I tend to play around with the round numbers just because it's closer. You bring up a good point with crypto MAs is all the ones that come from traditional technical analysis are based on
like
the
a
5-day
week and
markets, right? With the
yeah,
weekends off. So because you just have to cut them short like that. So I tend to find that, a lot of my MAs are the rounder numbers, 30, 90, 180, to approximate 24/7 markets. And they tend to work pretty well for crossing over. If you move it, I think I have one script that runs off a 1427, 1429 cross, depending on the market. That actually works really well. So, I found that kind of the slightly larger numbers tend to reflect the crypto markets a bit better than the lower ones.
It's also like way safer to use the larger ones as well. Like you're not, if you're using the lower numbers, you're going to be taking more positions more often. And if the market's trending downward, you obviously don't want to try and catch any knives. Even if it's your trading bot, you don't want your trading bot to catch any knives. So it makes sense to
so
use the larger numbers.
I don't want to brag, but the moving average that I use, basically called the tops and bottoms, kind of perfectly until the squeeze over the last 2 months here. But yeah, it's been very accurate, for a trader calling tops, then the reversal there, top reversal, and then top here at 15K, and then reversal there, and then top again, reversal. So it's been kind of accurate until recently when Bitcoin decided to squeeze its butt cheek at the last month.
I'm really surprised you guys' MAs are so low. I used to watch, and I don't know if he does videos anymore, but Carpe Noctem used to do a lot, and his thing was always 5,200, which I thought was pretty.
5,200?
Yeah, 5,200.
What time frame though? 'Cause
Yeah,
the
that's
thing.
what
Like,
there's no way. Dude.
I think he was either no. Yeah, it was 5,200, and if on the daily, it actually not on the daily. Hold on.
It had to be on
It
like
was
the
either
hourly.
It might have been the hourly. It was
Yeah.
hourly or 4 hour.
That's a
Yeah.
crazy
He had a
number.
big one, and his reasoning was kind of what you guys were saying, where it's like the traditional markets only trade about half or even less of the time than crypto because crypto is 24/7. So you have to basically double up the data that you're grabbing.
Yeah, another thing that I wanted to point out again is that if you look at the volume, I don't have a word for this yet, but it's the volume indicator that I have here again. If like
It's like a volume oscillator is what it looks like, but I don't know.
yeah, that's basically what it is. It's basically it's just an RSI, but with volume instead of whatever RSI uses. This last dump here caused a ridiculous amount of volume inflow into, and this is Coinbase, right? And I use Coinbase because I don't want to use an exchange somewhere in China that no one knows how much volume actually trades there, right? So I use Coinbase because that's where people who have actual money actually trade. So this whenever this this happens, it basically like it precedes a consolidation, and again that's probably not a good thing right now considering we're in a downtrend with the MAs, but I still think 4K is the bottom. I mean, if we go any lower from here, I'm gonna have to actually go find Satoshi and make him pump this thing.
Yeah, so a general rule of thumb I use for moving averages, if we're going to talk about like the really big ones, I think 200 is the best in terms of dictating like overall market sentiment. Like if you were purely just going to do market analysis off of a moving average, I think 200 is the best because it tells you basically the idea is when you're above it, it's a bull market. When you're below it, it's a bear market. And then whether or not you're above it or below it is how you should trade. So if we're below it, then you shouldn't be longing, you should be shorting. And then like each cycle, it's dangerous to even long, like right here, it's dangerous to long. it's dangerous to long here because we're still in. Since we're still under this line, it's very likely that we're going to get rejected from profit taking. Unless there's a ton of buy volume, which there was no catalyst to determine that there was going to be enough buy volume to get us over the 200 anyways. We would need like way more media exposure, and then obviously institution money would actually have to come in. But since it didn't, we just tapered off.
Institutional money.
Big money is coming, boys. Don't worry.
They came and they shit all over us, dude.
I mean, there was a moment where we dumped on Wall Street. It was all of like 5 seconds.
Yeah, those were good times.
Institutional money, guy.
Institutional money, dude. That's the biggest meme.
Big money is coming. You don't know how many people I talk to that tell me that shit.
Yeah,
I'm talking to someone, a friend right now who I will not mention. He's a huge whale. He was telling me like, yeah, George Soros is starting to buy in. I'm just like, come on, dude. Big money's always coming.
I love like when altcoins like make like the arguments like, yeah, but there's big money looking at us. We're having big money look at us, and institutional money's coming in. Like,
yeah, they're watching the fucking train wreck.
yeah, they're just sitting here. Yeah, they're just watching and laughing, dude.
Yeah, big money's watching.
Fucking kids.
I think we would have to get over like, I don't know if I said this in the last talk, but we would have to get over like the 11.5 range. I think we'd have to close like a week above that range in order for it to be like a confirmed bull market, because we can get above the 200 moving average and still dump afterwards. It's likely, or it's possible. So if we really want to confirm a bull market, we need to close a weekly candle above 11.3, 11.5.
Word. That's a big.
You know what sucks about the price going this low though? This is less TA, more like fundamental, I guess. Because everyone's gonna buy in eventually at some point at like low prices. It makes the multiples a lot better when we reach 20K already. So there's gonna be a lot less fuel during the way up. Like if people are saying, because I personally think Bitcoin's gonna be like 100K someday, or even more. But like that's like that can't really happen if people are buying at really low prices, you know? Because then why would you ever just hold that long? You know, you just sell. It's like, oh, I just got my 5x or my 10x. It's like I'm happy with that.
Saying with the 3K people, it's like that's just not going to happen. No one's going to give you that great an opportunity to buy Bitcoin. If it goes to 3K, it's going to $20. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like the multiple, like the lower Bitcoin goes, the multiple gets better over time. When it does eventually go back up to even 20K now is like a great trade.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if you're like a million or like a super huge money and you bought in and you have like $100 million at like 5K and it goes back up to 20, fuck it.
Yeah,
you just made a shitload of money.
Yo, can we talk about how we dodged a bullet with fucking Bitcoin Cash and Craig Wright and Roger Ver and all those retards? Like,
did we dodge a bullet? It feels like I got fucking shot still.
No. I mean, like with the fork, right? When they forked off instead of like if the
they forked off.
Yeah, they forked off. If the community, actually acquiesced, to the, demands and of hard forking the network and going up to like 20 megabytes or whatever the fuck they wanted, like we would be in such a crazy like position right now in a downtrend with people, trying to hash war their way to success. It's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in crypto. A bunch of rich people who think they're smart because they got lucky with Bitcoin, burning away money just to prove whose dick is. It's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Eventually filter out those people, though. That's what I love about crypto so much. Like that's why, like if you have an ego or if you think that you can control a market, like by a single entity can control a market cap as big as 100 billion, you're gonna get screwed a lot. Because if you're the type of trader who's trying to influence the market and not trying to take advantage of the market, you've already lost. Unless you're like one of the biggest whales and you can manipulate the market, but odds are you can't. And so if you're gonna make these
I mean, if you're one of those whales, you're also not on Twitter, publicly like showing off your $40,000 worth of watches, which is nothing. It's like you're just like sitting in your like nice mansion in the Caymans.
Yeah, I mean, I I've always said that like the most important people, some of the richest people on Twitter, like even so, I don't even know what his name is, but Jihan's boss is on Twitter. He has like 3K followers, right? He's worth like I don't know $100 billion or something, but no one knows who he is because he doesn't give a shit. But some pleb who's trying to show you the latest ICO scam. He's got like 40,000 followers because he's doing promos and giveaways every weekend.
Yeah, that's the other cool thing about this bear market is it's really exposing fucking everyone. Everyone is all of a sudden starting up a paid group. Everyone is starting to do shills. Everyone's doing all this crazy shit. Everyone's getting pissed off, and it's just like, okay, well, now we know. Now we know who was only being profitable just because it was a bull run.
Yep. The reals.
Real recognize real.
Yep.
Should we look at Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash or any other charts? Like any?
We're not looking at Bitcoin Cash because
the Bitcoin chart pretty much.
It's been amidst the deepest dive in the bear market. I still have some semblance of standards.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pass on Bitcoin Cash because I'm still patiently waiting for them to both self-implode spectacularly.
Dude,
Craig Ray was talking about fucking 2 GB blocks yesterday on Twitter. I was like, brother, I don't understand. Just because you make the number bigger doesn't make it better. I don't think. I don't know.
Can
you imagine
imagine how small his dick is, right? For him to have like
what do you mean? He has 2 GB block size, bro.
To have this obsession with bigger block sizes. Just imagine how tiny his dick is.
God, dude, I don't want to think about that.
That's an interesting way to take it, but okay.
Well, you are the godsend expert.
Speaking about Ethereum, though, I think Ethereum's one of the main reasons. Like, obviously, the market cap isn't anywhere near Bitcoin, but the sentiment of Ethereum, I think, kind of sparked the panic on the market cap.
Oh yeah, can we talk about Ethereum for a while?
It doesn't have.
Yeah, we can talk about Ethereum. That's a good one to talk about.
Yeah, I mean Ethereum. I mean, you say the market cap thing, which you are right. The funny thing is, just a trivia, the Ethereum market cap in January was 125 billion. Bitcoin's market cap today is 77 billion. So, yeah, insanity. Ripple was bigger than Bitcoin right now at the time. It's like a lot of coins were. Insanity.
I think it was just that.
I think even EOS went up to like 10
a lot
billion.
of that money wasn't actually there, though. It was just.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, of course not.
It was just the belief that money was there.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing though. It's like people now are like selling Bitcoin, which is like the greatest, arguably, but I would say not arguably the greatest digital asset, at a lower market cap than what they were buying Ethereum and these other coins at back in February and March and things like that.
All the ICOs are fucking useless.
Yeah, they all suck.
They're all really bad. Like they're worthless.
Does anything actually have a working project yet?
Augur.
No.
Augur has one.
And it fucking sucks.
Yeah, but it worked. It's internet, man. It's internet 1991.
It's so bad, dude.
Augur did an ICO in 2015. Okay, it took him like 3 years.
That doesn't even count because that was before the ICO craze. I'm talking about has any ICO from 2017?
Dragon Chain keeps getting awards.
That doesn't.
Fuck Dragon Chain.
Let me tell you about the Dragon Badonger Chain. Not so fast, let's say.
Dragon Badonger Chain?
It increases the profits and the economy. It increases everyone's coins in the wallets.
I guess Mothership has an update of an announcement of an announcement of an announcement every other week.
Oh my god.
We have news coming soon. We're making
progress.
progress.
What about BAT? Basic Attention Token. Brave is cool.
I mean,
right?
they have a browser. I don't.
Yeah, but they didn't need the browser to launch the coin, did they?
No, they didn't. And they don't actually need the token to pay people. You could pay people via Bitcoin and the Lightning Network if you really wanted to.
All right, boys. I got one for you. You guys ready for this?
All right.
Binance coin.
That wasn't an ICO. That's just a utility. Was it?
Yes, it was. It was an ICO. He could have bought BNB. I almost did, but I didn't. It was real cheap.
What did it go for?
It was pennies.
Like 10,000 sats or something?
Yeah, it was pennies, man.
Yeah, what?
Binance, it was pennies.
I missed that one.
ICO. And I was one of the first people on this. I was like, Binance is going to be the next huge exchange. Back when it had pitiful volume and no one rated it. Everyone was still on Trex. I was like, Binance is gonna be the next big thing.
It went parabolic quicker than Bitcoin, dude. Shit was
You know,
Yeah.
you know who made more money than people who bought BNB coin is people who bought into the actual exchange, like actual shareholders.
Oh yeah,
I'm
owning
not
an
sure.
exchange is the way to make money. That's for sure.
I'm actually not sure about that because BNB had a fucking crazy spike.
Dude, you don't know
It's
what
worth six. You said it sold for pennies.
Yeah, it sold for pennies.
It's worth $6.
They're okay. They're I can tell you I believe their sale was for like 20 million total. So looking at their market
Oh
cap now,
god,
it's
it
8.
was. Yeah, it sold for like 10 cents last
Yep.
July last year.
It was pennies, bro.
What?
Rogue's like, holy fuck.
Same
Well,
thing
at
with
its peak, it was $24, so that's like stupid. I mean, it's still trading at like 6, so you're still up 59 times.
Yeah, you're still up massively. Neo was another one where you could have bought the ICO. I mean, they're not doing anything. at
Neo
all,
was like
really.
fucking, what
Yeah,
was
Neo's
the
like
price?
the
Like
greatest thing of all
17,000 sats or something?
Ethereum was useful. Ethereum's an ICO that was useful, even if it's old. It was useful for crypto kitties and like destroying the network. And
I was
like
gonna-
losing
it was
$500
really
million.
other
It was really useful to get hacked by like a 14-year-old.
And then
So-
create. I mean, it made us free money with Ethereum Classic, so we can thank it for that. Like that was
Oh, yeah.
that was a pretty good payday if you just bought ETC when it split and it watch it go. What did it do? It went like a times 8 or times 9, something silly like that.
Here's the funny thing about ETC with ETH though, right? If you bought Ethereum Classic at any point, what the? If you bought Ethereum Classic at any point in your whole life, instead of buying Ethereum, you lost money. Okay.
Nope. I made a shitload of money. I bought it from
Yeah.
$2 and wrote it up to 10. Get fucked.
This arrow that points straight downwards says otherwise, my dude. It says otherwise. Literally, at any
Dude,
point.
I only held it for like 2 weeks, and that was like the pump that it had. And then it got
I was
out.
gonna say it depends on how long you hold it. Like if you're still holding, yes, you'd have lost money.
Yeah, no, I bought
But-
it for $2 last year in March, and then it pumped bigly up until 10, and then I sold. You can check the USD chart, bro.
Bigly.
Every
And then I never touched it again.
You know
Why
what-
would you touch it? It's stupid.
You know what's interesting though? I mean, this downtrend has clearly broken out. Hasn't it?
No, it hasn't. That's like the faux. That's the faux Coinbase pump.
Yeah, but
Well, you're comparing it to like the most. It's your ETH chart. Jesus,
yeah,
Yeah, why would you do that?
everything is up in ETH right now.
Yeah, ETH is like the Turkish lira, bro.
I think
Like
Ethereum-
co-founded is giving money back, and that is still up in Ethereum. Like, come on.
oh my god.
I think Ethereum's dumping had influence on the panic in the market. Like it obviously didn't move massive amounts of money, but it started panic because
It shifted confidence aggressively away to the fact that we
Yeah,
might
it
get
was
any sort of a
very-
rebound
it
soon.
was a violent dump. It wasn't like you can't have coins like Ethereum and Bitcoin dump 15% in one day because that's going to spark so much panic for the guys that have huge stacks. Because if they're losing that much in one day, they're now going to be looking at what they want to do with the option, and more often than not, if they're not seasoned traders, they're probably going to sell for a loss.
Yeah, I still think the stupid hash war is the reason why we seeing this whole dump. But I don't know. I think that's probably the biggest the contributor because a bunch of people lost faith in this whole process. This whole decentralized.
Well, that's because that's what you like already. That's an already reasonably centralized shitcoin. Like they've been criticized forever that they were centralized, and all the split does was actually show how centralized they truly are, and they've made them both more centralized. So it's like they did the split did everybody a favor and just kind of showed that the emperor had no clothes. That all their talk about being better than Bitcoin was a load of garbage.
It
that's that.
shines light on the whole SegWit 2x bullshit.
Yep. Like, and it's gonna do hopefully us a big favor and get Craig Wright like kicked out of the entire ecosystem once and for good, or at least into utter irrelevancy. I mean, to me that's more a confident thing. I have a hard time believing that financially they're having a big impact because I think yesterday The numbers I saw is that both have had to spend a combined 5.14 million USD to mine their shitcoins worth like 2.2 million. So
Yeah,
they've lost like 3 million. So even if they're selling Bitcoin to finance that, because they sure as fuck can't sell their own token because that would drive to the ground, that's still about $5 million, which if you look at the daily volume in the past week, it's not, that's not a big factor.
Well, here's a question for you guys. Do you guys think Bitmain is gonna have like some kind of comeback? Because if we look at all of what they've been doing in the past year in terms of their financials, is like the Bitcoin Cash was a massive mistake. Their miners are being like they haven't got the new miners out, and other miners are basically beating them out on the market right now. I believe they went and tried to make a 7 nanometer die chip process, and they failed those chips. So Bitmain, and now that they were doing their IPO, I don't even know how the IPO is going, but it did not look pretty last time I checked.
It's probably shit. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So do you guys think there's going to be a comeback, or like what is like a way out for Bitmain?
The only way out is that their next release has to work. So the 7 nanometer chip has to be comparable, because I think the Samsung backed guys that Coinbeak have the pre-order deal with, and one other outfit have functional 7 nanometer chips that are much more efficient than the S9s and the updated S9s. I mean, I'm not a big into the mining scene. That's other people's things, but from my perspective is, unless they can come up with a good solid 7 nanometer chip and get those miners rolling out and get them to the efficiency that they need to be, they're going to be a world of hurt. I mean, their shitcoin mining rigs are obviously not doing anything right now.
Oh yeah, they're fucked. Yeah, all the ASICs for all the coins.
Yeah, coin just forked away from them. I think.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the thing is, that's the thing. Like, anybody can do that at any point in time. Like,
Monero did it. Yeah,
Monero did it. Coin did it. I mean, Coin's a hilarious example. Because what do they have the obelisks, the Coin miners?
Yeah,
like those were selling for like $500 a couple of months ago, and now they're selling for $5,000.
Oh yeah, man.
Like, you could have bought those because because the chain was worthless, and everyone was like, well, Bitmain's coming out with a miner for that algo, so these things are garbage. And yeah, like, any developer can fork away and basically make your hardware investment worthless.
Yeah, the A3s are absolutely worthless right now.
At least with the SHA 256D rigs, like, Bitcoin's not going to go anywhere. It shouldn't, and it should go up. So your long-term viability is good, but you need to compete with everybody else for efficiency, and they are losing that battle dramatically, because that's really what matters. Like, you've been reading a lot of stories about, if you guys are checking on Twitter, there's a couple of stories going on about mining companies getting shutdown agreements because the cost to mine is exceeding the price of Bitcoin. So people are already mining at a loss. So
fucking Gigawatt just went bankrupt. But I don't understand that. That's very strange to me that they have $50,000 in assets, but they have like a 30 megawatt farm. Yeah, that's what they said. $50,000 in assets, but they have a 30 megawatt mining operation. How in the fuck is that even?
How do you have a smaller portfolio than Big Tone Vase?
I have no idea, dude. It doesn't make any sense to me. I watched the guy that ran Gigawatt mining in Seattle, and it seemed like he was pretty smart and was doing pretty good, and apparently not. He's fucked. They're fucked.
So yeah, Bitmain's future depends on in my opinion, on either somehow their IPO working out really well for them, and even that, I feel like that's going to be a band-aid on a flesh wound. I think they have to have an efficient 7 nanometer chip, or else they're screwed. That's it. Like, if they can't do that, like, they're going to lose. And I'm actually okay with that, because that's the way markets work, man. Markets reward efficiency and what you're doing. So
The only other thing was I do recall that they wanted to pivot as well a little bit into AI, But even that wasn't really working that well because I mean they have a lot of they have a lot of fucking chips, so might as well use them for something if they're useless for Bitcoin, right?
Right.
But even that, the last time I read a report on that, it was like, yeah, that's not working either. Everyone else is out competing them. So yeah, Bitmain's in dire straits. And the lower Bitcoin goes, and the more they're doing the stupid like hash war and this and that, it's like it honestly looks like the acting like just the ravings of a madman, like in his dying days. It's so weird.
It's just egomania on a massive scale. Again, I don't want to talk about people's dicks anymore, but look at that fucking guy.
Well, Dotson, since you brought it up.
Yeah, well, I have you now, dude. I'm sorry. Anyway, go ahead. Who's dick?
Look at the size of that fucking man. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Is that the first thing you think about when you see someone? I'm never gonna dox now.
He's Chinese too.
I mean, we all know Godson's racist, so there's that.
I know, dude. It's shitcoin talk. It wouldn't be complete without a little like racism. Thank you.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you know, if you look at the mining companies that have come and gone, it's normal in any industry to have market leaders for a while, and then they lose their edge, or it suddenly becomes easier for other companies to compete with them. You know, the big story going out with a while was that Bitmain was strong-arming their suppliers to not work with anybody else. And that works great until it doesn't, you know. That's a sign that they are trying to enforce their leadership spot through nefarious means because they would not have been able to hold it otherwise. And as soon as other companies realize that this is a profitable industry to get into and it's here to stay, because you got to remember, like, you know, the first couple of ASIC companies all went out of business pretty fast. I don't think many of them lasted more than like 2 or 3 years tops.
They started
Bitmain,
when the price was so low, so like they never made that much money, but Bitmain did it right, kind of.
I mean, the fact that Bitmain have been around and have made as much money as they have is pretty impressive. I mean, we can all be very grateful they sold all their Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash, because otherwise they could have made this drawdown really bad. You know, they could have pulled in Ethereum where, if you remember, during the last bear market, ETH sold like a huge chunk of their ICO at like the sub $300 level to fund things. And then we went up within like 2 months of that. So we're not seeing a whole lot of that from what I can tell. But yeah, Bitmain's screwed. They got to get it figured out.
We should have seen that, like, all the nefarious activities they were, like, you know, doing, all the strong arming, you know, manufacturers and ASIC boosts, and, you know, trying to force Bitcoin to fork with, you know, larger blocks. All of that was just signs of a company that was on the edge and couldn't survive unless it had some kind of monopoly on, you know, something. And
Which
yeah,
is what
we
they always try to do. They always try to gain control.
Yeah, we should have seen that. We should have seen that as, you know, as some kind of, like, you know, dying animal, just doing, you know, whatever it can to, you know, survive. But we didn't, I suppose.
It's really weird. Oh, go ahead.
I asked in the troll box if anybody has some coin requests, and if there's some good ones, we'll take a look at them. So if you're listening, start tapping them out, and
Tezos.
That way we can judge you based on what you want. From
no. Pat says, I need a Tezos bailout. Please help.
I don't know if we can help you, man.
I think the Loomdart support line is that way.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't? Oh yeah, all these guys were so heavy.
This is my hedge spot, by the way, for the stream. If you guys are futures traders, this is my open trade right now. You want to hedge these symmetrical triangles because there's no guarantee that it's going to break upward or downward. The only thing that this really tells us is it visualizes where the consolidation is going to have an emotional climax. So this is all arbitrary, right? This triangle, but essentially the important takeaway is seeing where people are likely to sell and seeing where people are likely to buy, and then where are those lines converging. And this will help you determine an arbitrary time period as to when you should enter the trade. So if I'm trying to figure out timing, I use diagonals. And then once you figure out an area that's going to have a large spike in the market, you can, ideally, you could pick a bias, which my bias would be to go long, but the best trade is to hedge here. So you would want to open a short and a long, and then have your stop losses. Like, I'm not going to be exact because this isn't financial advice, but you would have your stop losses in those ranges so that no matter what, if the market goes down or if it goes up, the trade that is successful will stay open in profit, and the one that failed will close on a stop loss. So again, you're going to lose a little bit no matter what. You have to accept that when you hedge. But if you can determine that a large movement's going to happen, then you just have to hold on to the bias that ended up playing out in your favor.
This is why Bitcoin, doth malls when it wants to make a big move, just to take everybody.
That's exactly why.
On both sides. just to take everybody on both sides, man.
Yeah, you can, once you get to a certain point, you can scalp any side, and then hedging is like almost accepting the fact that you can never be 100% right. And so just accepting that fact alone, even if you don't hedge, you're going to be a way better trader.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to start my my private group, teaching people how to hedge. Just
how to hedge, dude.
Just short exclusively.
Wait for the bounce and short the corn.
Rest in peace.
As a famous man once told me.
Rest in peace.
Any coins in the troll box you saw?
I saw Tezos, so we actually should talk about Tezos if we want to.
I'm screen sharing the Tezos chart right now.
Oh.
Here it comes.
I thought that was the Bitcoin chart, dude.
That looks even worse than the Bitcoin. How is this possible?
Oh.
I don't even know what to say, bro.
That looks fantastic.
This is the weekly, by the way.
Oh,
Boom.
Jesus. Yeah, just stay away. That's all I can say.
If there's any low cap coins, there's like maybe a handful that you can make an argument for buying in these kind of market conditions. Like, it's not a terrible buy to buy right now because it's so undervalued, but for the most part, you have to be so picky about what you're buying. Stupid picky, because this is the purge of all the coins that don't have merit.
Do you guys want to know what the market cap is of this coin that we're looking at?
It's like $600 million.
$416 million.
Oh man,
it has so much room to fall. Like, I mean, my personal recommendation is if you are heavy in one of those ICOs that's more vaporware than anything else, you should probably move your capital somewhere else. Because I feel like a lot of them are going to go nowhere fast still. Like, if they start going up, you can catch them back up. But just to sit in them right now and hope they go back up, especially with the SEC making moves like CFI closed their doors and are giving money back, I expect a whole bunch of others to do the exact same thing.
Holy shit.
Except that you're not going to get your money back.
Imagine if Tezos gives us our money back, bro. That'd be fucking amazing.
Oh, that would be amazing, dude.
But what was the price of when everyone bought it? What was the price of Bitcoin when everyone bought Tezos?
3,000, I think.
Let me quickly. ICO drops, right? Yeah. ICO drops. That's Tezos.
I think it was 3,000.
So, I mean, it's still up in Bitcoin and USD, right?
Still up in BTC, boys.
I know.
It says it's at 0.75 in BTC.
Yeah, 0.76 x BTC. So, I mean, it's not, it's still something, right?
I mean, you waited an entire year and a half for this.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing, though. Here's the funny thing. So, for you to stake your Tezos, you have to start, delegating, right? Baking or whatever they call it, and it takes like a month, right, to start delegating. So it's basically like an anti-dump mechanism, because if you exit and move to exchange and come back, you're gonna have to wait like another 2 months to start delegating. So here's the thing, right? 65% of the coins on the network are currently delegating. 65%.
God.
So literally everyone is bag holding, everyone, and they're just gonna dump it straight to the earth, and we're all just gonna be. The worst thing is, well, I mean, it's not bad for me because I'm holding someone else's bag, so it's okay. But it sucks to be that guy right now.
I have some Tezos. It kind of hurts, boys.
What is that guy? Is that guy's like, Godson, please sell my Tezos? You're like, no, you're holding, bitch. Like,
Hold these bags.
you better start baking your little Tezies, dude.
The USD is a bleed. This is a massive selling climax. This is like everyone who got screwed from buying in these ranges just had their stop losses trigger. And no, this looks more dead than dead can be. I mean, the volume is really good. Don't get me wrong, but that's not a 100% indicator that's going to have a recovery rally.
It's fucked.
This is new all-time lows. I mean, that's just not good at all.
Oh my God! Look at that RSI.
It's so bad. What else? What other coins are in here?
We had a request for NMR.
MRI, it's a ICO. If it's probably.
Are we gonna look at?
Good.
Hang on, let me.
Wait, we have like it's 45 minutes into the show, so we still have 15 minutes left. We can do anything you ever wanted to in your whole life.
It's sideways. Looking at my chart, NMR is like nothing fancy going on. I mean, it's still in the downtrend. It hit a bottom. Whether it retested or not is another issue. So we'll have to wait and see if
fundamentally
if it pops. But like, it's one of the coins where it's, I'd like to see maybe a retest of that low at 45,
especially considering
sats.
It's ICO, I think, right? So it's
yeah,
it is.
It's kind of bunched with all those other ones. So yeah, a retest of that would be nice. I think to see if it's gonna hold it or not.
Fundamentally, Numerai is absolutely worthless. Don't buy it.
Basically,
not financial advice, but don't buy it. Like if you, I don't know, like who's
if I remember correctly, the whole point of Numerai was so they had statisticians and whatever. They wanted to build a decentralized hedge fund, right? So basically everyone got to submit their idea for a trade, but to make it, I don't know, to make it such that you can't scam the system or whatever, you have to bet, you have to stake, quote unquote, basically bet with Numerai, and if your trade idea is good, then you make more Numerai or something. I don't know. But
no. Here's how Numerai works. All right, you ready?
No.
Let me. No.
You hit the short button and you make money.
Every time you see a nice green candle on Numerai, you just want to short the shit out of that. Numerai is one of those coins that actually is useful in ETH because it makes you more money. Just short it.
What else we got? Somebody asked for Denarius. I see you, Carson, showing your project.
NMR looks pretty good from a technical standpoint, though. Like in terms of
it looks good technically.
There's not a lot of supply left, so when it does get moving, it's going to move quick. And the thing about this is, it needs some sort of spark to get it going. So it'll continue ranging like this for a while until it gets a spark of volume or some sort of media attention. But overall, when you look at the technicals and the amount of volume coming in, the buy volume heavily outweighs the sell volume. So we can assume that there's not very much supply left to go around. So essentially all you need is a large spike in demand, and then it'll start moving. Really
so you can wait for it to start moving up. If you look at how much room it has to move, like you don't have to try and catch the bottom on this. Like, maybe like if it actually breaks out above, what is that, 100? If it breaks up about 0.001, like with volume, you could probably get in there and still get a ×2, ×3 pretty easy.
Yeah, you don't have to rush into it or
Yeah, it's you know, that's your classic example of wait for a trend confirmation, breakout confirmation, and then get in.
But remember, it's shit.
But remember, it's shit. But you can wait for the confirmation and play.
So is everything else.
Right. Somebody asked for Denarius, Topia coin, low volume, so I used the line chart. Otherwise, it looks like a dog's mess with all the wicks, and you can't make sense of it. Long-term downtrend broken sideways into a falling wedge that's going to come to a head soon. Right. So it has like a week to decide if it's going to retest the lows or not. I mean, it hit the bottom and sprung up nicely.
Yeah, it did.
So whether it goes down to retest that again and bounces, or if it breaks upwards out of this descending wedge, we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like it's going to continue this pattern for like another week to 10 days and then do something. So I'm going to wait and see what it does.
Raven coin's looking really good. Have you guys looked at that?
Raven?
I saw the other day that it was kind of trying to find some support.
The price, like the risk reward is really, really good. Because if you buy it at the top, obviously it's not good risk reward. But if you give it like a couple more days and it still hasn't dumped, I think it's a good pickup. Here, I'll share my chart. But Raven's looking really solid if it can survive at these levels and close not a weekly candle, but a daily candle above this line right here. This is where the order block was previously.
I love that fib retrace level though. That's perfect if it touches the 0.786 line, give or take.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, if you're looking for a spot that it's going to bounce from, like that would be it. You know, it's like, you're right. For risk reward, like this is your classic leg up, perfect retrace, ready for like another go at new highs.
When you see this volume right here, this is insanely high compared to the rest of the entire history. So what
dude.
Is that when you see a volume spike like this, it's not just one volume spike. It's going to be followed by more buy volume coming in. Mm-hmm. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but it's more likely than not. Just like when you see a huge red sell candle, typically is followed by more selling. Not always guaranteed, but another good indicator with volume.
You have a nice, yeah, you've got what are you in the daily? Yeah.
Yeah, the daily.
If I'm looking, where's my square tool, rectangle? These fuckers right here is an interesting gap or space that looks like it might get filled. You know, you just have the one candle, and right in between these wicks, like a failed breakout and a retest of it as support. If you grab my arrows, you know, that guy, that candle, and that one right there. So that price gap right in between them, there's a bit of a void that we've touched on at the bottom, like looks like to be like right around 400, 400 to 407 is an interesting range that could provide, you know, solid support and keep us from getting as low as the fib line. So basically, if it breaks down from here, it's probably going to retest where it broke out from. But if this level holds, I could easily see another leg up.
I think that level will hold because that was also the day when it started trading on Binance. So that is that is precisely the day it started trading on Binance. So that's like the resetting to zero level, essentially.
Binance. Yeah, it's basically where the Binance pump started, 1021.
Yep.
And so Binance is All right.
Binance plebs are shaking out, and now it's time for a reset.
Yeah.
So it's good. I have a bag.
Maybe I should get a bag.
I've been averaging in now that in the last couple of days. This is a really good pickup, I think. Just because fundamentally speaking, I think it's strong. And when you have fundamentals and technicals going hand in hand, the risk reward is like pretty tempting. It's depending on what the market cap wants to do, because even if it's poised to move up and if Bitcoin dumps, it's still going to go down with Bitcoin.
Word.
Right.
I like it.
But like I said, I think a lot of us agree that outside of the final little bit of capitulation and panic, which should get bought up, I think a lot of the alts, looking at my portfolio and a lot of the charts, held up quite well through yesterday's leg down compared to how they reacted to the first break of 6K and the break of 5K. That complete shit down to the 4100 level. Alts kind of just shrugged it off. A lot of them, as far as their BTC pairing goes. Obviously, we don't look at their USD value during a move like that because it's going to be wrecked. But they seem to absorb the most. I think that's because most of them have pretty much bottomed out already. There's not a lot left to give, and any of the big players aren't going to dump at this point because you'll just completely annihilate it.
Yeah.
You can pull the old secrets move and just go set stink bids 50% down from the price of everything in case somebody panics.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
I don't see anything. I don't see for a lot of the non-ICO coins. I can't see 50% moves down. I know there are a lot of analysts out there that think that they could all bleed that to zero, but that shit's like penny stocks. There are people out there that are gonna make money on it, regardless. Just
Right,
don't
that's what
hold
I was
any
gonna
shitty
say.
ICOs.
Is the non-ICO coins? Is the ICO coins? I'd be fucking scared shitless being in a bunch of ICO coins at this point right now. But the older ones with a lot of history it seems like they like pretty much exactly what you said. So I agree.
It's the Simpson clip with the when the kids beat the shit out of someone and they stop. It's already dead.
Yeah, basically. It's already dead. You can't kill them much more. I mean, outside of ICOs, which, like I said, are almost all overpriced. That's the thing with a lot of the older proof of work, proof of stake coins. They've had a lot of price discovery history. Like, people have an idea of what they're worth. All the ICOs,
you have no fucking idea, dude.
No fucking idea, and they've all just been dumping, and they will continue to bleed because they raised money and they have these giant teams that they have to pay. That I don't know. I think they spend most of their time trying to pay crypto influencers instead of doing actual work. So
I don't think Stock Credits had a giant team, to be honest with you.
Fucking Star Credits.
Basically,
what's that fucking guy's name again?
Clay?
Spaceman or something.
Spaceman. Oh,
Clay
Space.
dude.
Oh boy, he finessed people out of 1,000 BTC with a shitty idea of a fucking movie with shitcoins on it.
And then he sold all the Bitcoin for $1,000 each.
Oh, why are people so stupid? I don't understand.
Everyone has an ICO. Then once they get the ICO money, they turn into traders, dude. What's up with that? And then they lose all their money.
Because most people who enter the space enter for money. As much as you want to romanticize the technology, if you're being
dude.
It's about the money, and so.
No, dude, I'm in it for the technology.
I'm in it for the tech, dude. Hey, Godson, what do you think about Clay's dick? Do you have anything to say about that?
What?
Jesus Christ, man.
His dick. Well, okay. All
right, but should we fucking do a little roundup? I don't know if there's much to say. I mean, everyone knows what the fuck happened. Anybody doing anything crazy the last week?
Nah, since the breakdown, I basically just stopped. I basically just paused everything because I mean, like you can't decide anything right now based on TA or fundamentals or whatever. So all I did was just stop. I just stopped doing, just stop trading, stopped watching markets. I show up to Twitter and shoot posts, but that's it. Because you have to actually regroup and try to figure out where things are and where things are going. So I'm not doing much right now.
I think it's important. Like, I agree with you. Technicals and fundamentals are not useful when there's panic or greed in the market. I think like the most useful thing you can do in these times is assess market sentiment. So like there's a bunch of tools out there that'll, like the fear greed index, a bunch of tools that'll give you an idea of what the crowd thinks. And so if you can assess when the crowd is at its peak fear, that's usually one of the safest times to buy in. And then obviously the inverse of that is when the crowd is at peak greed, then you would want to sell. But essentially the only thing that you can go off right now is the crowd psychology. That's like the most important thing, because when we enter these extremely volatile ranges, the trading bots are the ones losing, and the ones winning are the ones piloting their own trades because the volatility's back. So
Yeah,
the guys who are
that's
using
definitely the
crowd psychology are going to be at an advantage in these times, and that's what you should be gravitating towards.
yeah. The sort of silver linings of this whole thing is that we actually have volatility back, so we can actually trade again instead of just sitting and watching the funding rate on BitMEX just absolutely rob the shit out of all your money. But so that's good.
Word. Rogue, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, emotions are high right now. I feel like a lot of people, this is the first real dump they've ever been through, Bitcoin-wise, because most people don't remember weren't around back in 2013, 2014 when we went from, what was it, 1100 to sub 200. So it sucks. The name of the game is, as long as you've got some money, some capital, you can always trade it back. So don't go out and a lot of times altcoin traders, when this happens, look at how much they're wrecked and decide to try and get it back by margin trading, and they end up just making Arthur richer. I saw that at OKCoin last time. That's happening at BitMEX this time. So don't do that. Myself, I've been just playing some small scalping trades intraday, literally not holding anything long-term or overnight, because as we mentioned before, it's an area of violent moves, and I'm not trying to get caught with my pants down. So a couple of small trades for some small scalps to make a little bit of money. Other than that, really just reviewing a lot of the long-term altcoin charts to see how bottomy they look, how things could go in the future, and kind of setting alerts and notifications for when the market turns, whether that's a month from now or 3 to 4 months from now. Man, right now it's a game of survivor, and you just got to ride it out and not get yourself killed. And when the moves happen, this is going to be the time when you hear about people making tens and times 10 to times hundreds, or 10, 20, 30 Bitcoin for a single trade. It's when some of these altcoin moves happen, they're going to happen fucking hard, man. They're going to start trending up, and you're going to be not sure, and then they're going to pull a fucking factum just at a times three. Like, you could have got in at 100K and pulled a quick times 2 had you gone in hard with commitment, because it was clearly breaking out. So just got to get your charts ready, get your watch list ready, and wait for those moves. It's a bear market, but some fucking coin is going to pump. Like I said, we just had a goddamn times 2 in less than a week. I forget what it started at. So don't just sit around moping.
It's times 3.
It's a times. Yeah, I know it was at like 60, but I try to get in at 100 for a quick play. So yeah, don't be all mopey and sad. We're here. Sorry folks, we've all lost some money, we're all down in the dumps. But fucking do something about it. Don't be a fucking whiny ass soy boy bitch.
Yeah, you heard it here. Don't do that. Also, you talk about making Arthur richer. I looked at the insurance fund yesterday, and he made like 800 Bitcoin in one day from that dumping and stuff. So, that's a pretty good day. 800 Bitcoin, not bad.
My favorite Twitter header picture is thinking USD. But
Flood?
I've forgotten what his name is, but his Twitter header is with, the guys with the guns next to a building of BitMEX.
Oh,
that shit cracks me up every single time. I'm gonna look it up real quick. And
what about you, Roy? Do you have anything to say, Roy?
No, I think Rogue said it best, man. I legit
Same.
I'm not gonna lie, Rogue. When you were saying that, I wanted to put on my 2 Steps from Hell soundtrack, and that was pretty fucking epic, dude. Someone should do an edit. That shit got me fired up. So I'm gonna repeat what he said. Don't lose your head.
Yeah,
That's all.
What is this?
This-
What are you looking at here?
So this picture, this
Oh, the BitMEX.
that's exactly that's what I feel like right now. That's what I feel like right now, man.
God damn it!
Let's
That's a
get this bread.
beautiful-
All right,
Let's get this bread, yo.
yeah, let's get this fucking bread, boys.
But to
Yeah.
expand on Rogue's point, I think that this is probably the most important time to do research. If there was a given time to do research, it's at the bottom of the bear market, because there are going to be coins that are going to be the next Ethereum in terms of growth, not in terms of like fundamentals, but there are going to be coins like that. So if there was ever a time to look at where supply is starting to taper off and demand is imminent, you want to definitely consider looking at those options, because
I agree.
at this point, for a lot of the really, really solid fundamental coins, it's not the reason we're going down on them is not because supply is outweighing, well, it is because supply is outweighing demand, but it's mainly because the demand has tapered off so hard in the cryptocurrency total market cap. Like, we are just losing demand day over day. So of course all these coins are going to suffer. But when demand does come back in the market cap, it's important to look at which coins have really low supply, because those are the coins that are going to make 10x, 20x. You have to look for the coins that have loyal supporters, because those are the guys who are going to be selling way later on and not just viewing it as a pump and dump. So essentially, it's one of the best times to look for the next Ethereum in terms of growth, because this is when the baseline Ethereum investors basically got in at the bottom of the.
Yeah,
the market.
that's very true. Don't give up, boys. Do your researches. Now it's a good time. I agree.
I mean, that may have been the most woke 5 minutes I've ever like witnessed some shitcoin talk.
Wow,
so.
on shitcoin talk, amazing, dude. Really stepping it up here, dude. All right, yeah, we're gonna try to do a show. I'll try to get a show going next week too. I'll try to keep it going weekly. So
well, if the market's the exact same as right now, we're going to delay it another week.
yeah,
Like,
maybe.
if Bitcoin just ranges between 4 and 5 and 4,500, and altcoins don't move, there's not much point, because
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So like
We'll
assuming something happens, anything in the crypto
literally
space
anything.
that's
Yeah.
really worth talking about, we'll try and do a show next week.
Yep.
If we have sideways across the markets, like, just rewatch this episode.
Yeah.
Everything.
Go fuck yourself, dude.
Or rewatch the last 10 minutes, because
I'll just re-upload it. I'll just download this episode, re-upload it as episode 67, and
There
then
we
go.
Oh,
All right.
God.
Like, any last words, boys?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
to clarify, I wasn't talking about like the total amount of coins in supply. Like, I'm not talking about the 21 million Bitcoin. I'm talking about supply and demand macroeconomics.
Yeah.
Just because someone in the chat was wondering.
I understood that. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Go read some trading books. Get smarter.
Get
Yeah.
smarter. Don't get dumb.
Don't let
me.
your
And
small
if all else
affect your
fails,
training.
buy a bottle of whiskey.
Yep. Buy a bottle of whiskey, cheap and easy. All right, boys. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's it. We're done. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, boys.
Thanks.